Hello and welcome into the show, everyone. I am Preston Poole alongside Tyler Adams. This is Unadvised here on the Sports Animal YouTube, Facebook, and right here on our X account at Unadvised Pod. Follow us on X at Preston Poole 405 at Tyler's Takes. Chaos in football this weekend. It didn't stop after Saturday. This continued here on Sunday in the NFL. We're going to get into all of it here today on the show. First off, though, T-Bag, how are you doing on this fine Sunday?
You know, football sucks. I hate the entire game. I mean, I'm good. We'll talk about it. I'm not gonna give just everything I'm feeling away quite yet.
Yeah, tough weekend for young T-Bag, that is for sure.
Every weekend's been a tough weekend.
All right, well, let's start right off the top with what happened in Norman last night. The Oklahoma Sooners dominate the Alabama Crimson Tide at home. They win 24-3, and obviously all you guys watched the game, but if you didn't watch the game, you say, well, 24-3, is that really dominating? No, it was a domination in Norman by the Sooners as they, held Alabama to the lowest points they've had in the game since 2004. So it was quite a night there in Norman.
It was shocking, Preston. I was at an establishment watching the game last night, and kind of during the first quarter, I wasn't paying too hard of attention.
Yeah.
I had my eye on it, but I was just, kind of waiting. And then I saw the Bauer Sharp drop, which was honestly, I think OU and OSU fans probably agreed it was laugh out loud funny. Looking at it now, probably for OU fans at the time, it wasn't laugh out loud funny, but looking at it now, just the way the offense has played, the tight ends have played this year, dropping a wide open touchdown.
It sums up everything. Yeah.
It summed up a lot. But kind of halfway through the second quarter, I remember looking at my buddy and I was like, is OU actually like kicking ass right now? Is OU kicking ass?
Yeah.
And he was like, OU is clearly the better team right now. And I was like, okay, I want to make sure my eyes aren't misinterpreting me here. It was a thorough ass whooping.
Yeah.
There was not a thing outside of that Ryan Williams touchdown, which I'm still confused why that flag was called, because he was I don't even know what it was. Doesn't matter. Even if he scored, it wouldn't have mattered. I still don't get what the flag was called on.
It was illegal formation. They said he was covered up in that situation.
Yeah, but I don't think he was. I think
he wasn't. It was a bad call, but it doesn't.
I've never
matter.
heard covered up. I just never heard that saying. Yeah. So, because at first they said illegal touching. Yeah. And I was like, he's nowhere near out of bounds. Anyway, it wouldn't have mattered even if he scored there, but literally outside that play, there was not a thing Alabama could do, especially on offense.
Yeah, we talked about how good this defense was, and we said that they weren't, quite an elite defense, but they were a good enough defense to go out and win you football games. That was an elite defense last night. That was an elite defense that showed up. And I think it just comes from the Sooners wanted it more last night than what Alabama did. I still think Alabama's a decent football team. I don't think they're, this makes them, fall down any rank in my book, maybe a couple of ranks, but I'm not just, completely out on Alabama after this. Now their playoff chances are shot for sure. They're not making the playoffs, but I still think they're a decent football team. And for Oklahoma to just, dominate a team that has 17 5-stars on the roster, the way that they did was pretty impressive. That's easily, without a doubt, Brent Venables' best win as the head coach in Norman.
Texas last year?
It wasn't even as dominant.
This was yeah. And this was a crucial win too.
Yeah. 13.5-point dogs at home too.
We were all talking about LSU, all right, just play this game, see what happens, and go beat LSU. Now it's obviously go beat LSU, but you got that staple SEC win. You got the win that you just needed to be hey, this is what it can be. You got the win to get you to a bowl game. Sure, you want to go out and beat LSU. Sure, you want to, get that other extra win. Get, a 2-game winning streak, maybe a third if you win the bowl game. Going into the offseason, into year 4. That win was so, so, so important for Brent Venables. And after the news we've gotten, after the season he's gone through professionally, what he's gone through personally that we found out over the last week or two.
Yeah.
Good for Brent. That, as a guy that's obviously not an OU fan, that was like the one thing last night where I was like, good for that guy. Good.
Yeah, and you see him on the field after the game with his daughters doing the post game interview with Holly Rowe, which we can get into the storming of the field twice there in Norman.
People got mad at me for my tweet last night. We can talk about it, but you tweeting out Raider gif at me.
I was feeling myself.
I've had a long day on social media. We can talk about the TikTok too. That's now going viral.
Yes,
along with everyone else in the state of Oklahoma.
I was sitting on the couch scrolling TikTok, I don't know, an hour ago, kind of just looking at some stuff, and lo and behold, I swipe and I see our beautiful teabag on my TikTok page saying that Alabama and earmuffs, if you have children, Alabama was going to shit can Oklahoma this weekend. Turns out it was the other way around. So.
And I went back and watched it today because Zach Trethway, the podcast I was on, he texted me and said, he said, I just woke up and this thing's just absolutely blown up. So I went back and rewatched it and I was like, because I like quintupled down on it. I was like, there's no way this is going to be close. Alabama's going to win this game like 42-14. I said it on the sports and I said it on this show, I was so confident.
Yeah. Everyone was though, so you can't feel like too stupid for it.
No, and dude, here's the thing. It's like in this biz Preston, we're all gonna have bad takes. That was my worst take of them all. I've had way worse takes. That was like the most that's just with how confident you were, kind of thing. I've had way worse takes, but with how confident I was is what makes it funny. It's definitely in the all PR is good PR category for myself. But yeah, I was very confident that Alabama was I thought they were humming. I thought they were playing as good as it. I didn't do it because I have so many futures already locked up with win totals. I was really, really debating putting money on Alabama at 9-1 to win the national championship. So I was that confident that they were playing that good.
No, I mean they've looked good the last couple of weeks coming into this
really
game,
good.
and then
I thought that Missouri game was just going to be kind of just the dagger in the heart for OU. So I was just really confident that Alabama was going to come in and not mess around and take care of business. But then you remember that Kalen DeBoer is on the sideline and not Nick Saban.
Yeah, and I mean, but it just seemed to me that Alabama was hell bent on running the football with Jalen Milroe, and I don't know if that was ever going to happen against Oklahoma because their run defense is like the best part of their team.
You brought that up. You're like the run defense for OU. That's like the one thing you want to circle. Alabama likes to run Jalen Milroe, but OU is good at stopping the run, and they shut him down last night. I mean, that defense last night was
crazy.
Unreal. That is the best, and I mean the best I've ever seen OU play defense. Maybe outside no, I'll say that's the best because that's against a legit SEC.
Yeah.
Like you said, 17 5-stars. Obviously I can remember 2008, 2009. I remember those years with Gerald McCoy and all those guys. But even then, it wasn't 2001 for OU defense or anything.
Yeah, and
that was by far the best I've ever seen OU's defense play.
And you have to go all the way back to 2001 for a defensive performance like that from Oklahoma. I mean, Milroe was 11 of 26 for 164 yards passing, 3 interceptions. Obviously, one of those was a pick 6. Rushing the ball, they only had 70 yards rushing last night at Alabama. Milroe 15 carries for 7 yards. So, yeah, I mean, they cut the head off of the snake, right there quick in that game. Oklahoma did. And then on offense, they just completely turned the clock back to about 1975 and said, you know what, we're going to run Jackson Arnold and we're going to run Xavier Robinson right down your throat, and you're going to take it, and there's nothing you can do about it. Yeah.
No, I mean, it was just a thorough ass whooping. Now we mentioned it earlier, the field storming.
Yes.
Here's where I stand. So I tweeted last night, like joking around because OU stormed the field with 28 seconds left, and I thought people, and I had some OU fans like in the comments like that were like thinking I was being, but I was like, I thought people would take it as a joke, like, hey, you guys got to learn how, because I've stormed the field like 4 times in my life.
Yeah.
So I come from a program that storms fields for beating top 5 teams. So I feel like we've us in Stillwater we've done the field storming. So it's kind of thought it was kind of like self-owning myself, saying like, hey, this is how you do it. Like clock hits 0, then you do it, not at 28 seconds. But some people got mad. Where I stand with the field storming though is I don't think OU should have done it. It's been one bad season. Like I know 2022 was bad, but that was year 1 under Brent. Like it's been one bad season. It wasn't like 2000 when you went through a decade of suckage, and then you kind of you beat the number 1 team in the country, your big time rival. You dominate them. Like it was letting out the demons. So like I don't think OU should have done it. But with that said, who cares?
No,
like,
it was still cool.
Go celebrate the win. Like I'm not one that's gonna like hate on some fun. Like storming the field's fun. So
yeah. No,
if they would have taken the goalpost and thrown them into Lake Thunderbird or something, then I'd be like, all right, like a little extreme then. But just storming the field, like I mean, again, like I said, I don't think OU should have done it, but I'm not up in arms like some people are about it either.
Yeah, no, I tend to agree with you that you shouldn't do that at Oklahoma. But again, senior night, you beat Alabama when no one gave you a chance. Screw it. Who cares, right?
Yeah. And honestly, like, how many chances are you going to have to storm the field too? That's
not too often. I mean, the last one was in the year 2000, so 24 years ago. So
yeah.
And that was kind of like a culmination of OU coming back from the dead of the 90s into the 2000s with Bob Stoops, and obviously winning the national championship that year. So I'm not gonna do that this year, but it was still cool to see 70,000 people on the field after the game. They have the shot the ESPN does where they have it on the it's like the sky cam that goes across the wire across the field, and it's like pointed above Holly Rowe and Brent Venables and his daughters doing the interview, and they pan out, and all you see is just people on the field. You can barely even see any green on the field. So that was pretty cool. So if you're a student at OU or player, why not? It's the last time you're going to be there this season, so screw it. But I'm typically out on those, but oh well. Did you see? Go ahead.
The deep down hater in me, safe space, is just waiting for a video of maybe an OU player like pushing or an OU fan pushing a Alabama player or something. So I could take that and run.
Yeah,
because those are always inevitable. Whenever someone starts the field, there's always gonna be one guy that pushes someone, and then it's a replica. People think that's a replication of the whole fan base. Yeah, so I'm just waiting for that video to come out, and so I can take that run. But I haven't seen anything yet.
And also, if you haven't heard, Oklahoma did get fined for that, and so
twice.
Auburn got fined $100,000 for it, but they only stormed the field once. Oklahoma stormed the field twice, so they got fined $200,000. So maybe next time we figure it out.
2 double field stormings yesterday with Arizona State.
So 2 double fields. That one in Tempe was a little bit different though, because they actually tore down the goalposts. It looked like OU, as soon as people started going on the field, they immediately dropped the goalpost downs real quick, so no one could rip them down or anything like that. So
they were prepared for that one.
Yeah, they were definitely prepared. Did you? And I know you said you were at a bar watching this game, but at one point, so Milroe threw a pass to a receiver, and it was right at him, and he didn't even attempt to catch it, and he kind of looked up at the lights. Did you see that Alabama was complaining because the lights were too bright there in the stadium?
No, I didn't catch that.
Yes, that was on the broadcast. And I'm sitting here thinking, I'm like, I've been going to OU games, watching OU games for since 2001, 2002. never has that been an issue between either team in Norman, the lights. And Alabama rolls into town, and now the lights are an issue.
Why would they like? I mean, I'm not saying like I mean, they might be saying this. I don't know because this is the first I'm hearing of this. If they're like complaining that the lights are too bright and it's like an advantage OU, like wouldn't that be for a disadvantage OU too? Because they have to,
Yeah.
you know, it's not
They
like
have to play in it as well. Yeah,
they have to play in it as well. So yeah, that's.
I just heard that and I'm like, wow, the lights are literally too bright for Alabama right now in Norman. So, let's see. So if
Also OU's crimson helmets. With every time OU and Alabama play, I notice this. OU's crimson helmets just look so much better than Alabama's with the gloss finish on them.
Yeah, Alabama's just dull and having really like no pop to them.
Yeah, there's no. Yeah.
They need to maybe
they're
throw
not
a
shiny.
little extra on there. No, not at all. Not at all. So if they go down to Death Valley and win, does that change how you view the season so far? They end up 7-5 on the season?
Yeah, it does. Just because of the ass kicking that happened last night. If they can follow that up with a win in Death Valley, then I think that goes to show they're like, all right, like if they do get this figured out on offense, this could be going somewhere.
Yeah, like it gives you like, you know, a little bit of hope going into the next season, right? Like you said, if they do make the right hire and turn things around on offense. Let's see what else I have on this game before we move on. Xavier Robinson was a stud last night. Freshman came in. Gavin Sawchuk. A lot of people are asking why he doesn't get more carries. I would say A, he's been banged up, right? Part of this season, and B, he hasn't done anything really with the carries he's had this season. I mean, he had his longest rush of the season last night. It was 7 yards, T-Bag. I mean,
he's really good.
It's just he ended the season last year on such a good streak. I think it was like 5 games or something like that, over 100 yards. And then heading
we're talking about Gavin. We're talking about
Sawchuk, yeah. And then this season it's just run right up the middle and fall up the line of scrimmage is kind of what he's done so far. So I mean that to me seems like a reason why you wouldn't give him more carries.
Yeah, he'll be in the portal, especially with the emergence of Xavier Robinson.
Yeah. And then Taylor Tatum, look, I think he's a great talent. He's got a fumbling issue. I think that's something that can be fixed.
Yeah, that's coachable.
But yeah, you probably can't play him until that issue is fixed.
Yeah.
But he's a great talent, I think. I mean, he's definitely shown flashes so far this season. It's just he likes to put the ball on the ground. But you know who else liked to put the ball on the ground a lot? T-Bag. His name was Adrian Peterson. So
did he have a fumbling problem? I didn't know that.
Yeah. But you know, he turned out to be a pretty good football player.
He's all right.
Again, I'm not saying that he's going to be Adrian Peterson.
All
right.
You can't, unless they prove it their freshman year.
Yeah,
they're never going to be, because Adrian Peterson was almost
Heisman
Trophy winner as a freshman. Should have been the Heisman Trophy winner, honestly, as a freshman.
Yeah, but it's all rigged. So, all right, let's get into Oklahoma State. They drop a back and forth game. I didn't really get to watch a bunch of this because I was watching that UCO playoff game. It was kind of at the same time. I watched the end of the OSU game. Just back and forth, 56-48, the final score. What are your thoughts on this ball game?
The defense is still really bad. Nothing is even. It gets worse. It just gets worse. I mean, the offense did everything they could to keep them in it. It's just the defense just let them down times. I mean, obviously the offense made a couple crucial mistakes. McCoskey snapped it over Malalaki. I think this is Malalo Smith. He snapped it over him twice. One, obviously, for a touchdown that pretty much sealed the deal in the game. But then, even then, OSU had a 3rd and 11 with 1:45 left to try and stop Texas Tech, and they just couldn't. They just couldn't stop them. So the defense is terrible. The offense, I really, really liked what I saw from Malalaki Smith. Speaking of Twitter fights, Preston, I got in a Twitter fight with one of my own yesterday. I put out a video, kind of final thoughts of the game, and someone was like, this guy really said, like someone tweeted back, said, this guy really said there's not a lot to take away from today on offense. I was like, I literally say in the video, there's a lot of positive to take away on the offensive side of football. And that is literally what I said. And then, but I said all things considered because Texas Tech is really bad on defense, just like OSU is. And then this guy replies back again. He's like, they're 7-5, dude. They don't have that bad of a defense. Texas Tech statistically is the worst defense in the Big 12. They're statistically worse than OSU. I don't think they are worse than OSU because Texas Tech's defense can make a stop when they have to. OSU's can't. But they're still a really bad defense.
That's a bad argument, too, because Oklahoma would go 11-1 every year with the worst defense in the Big 12 every year, too. So probably not the argument you want to make.
Yeah, like they're 7-5. It's like, the Big 12 is not very good. They're 7-5. They're a very average football team. But yeah, the offense, a lot of good to take away from. Ollie Gordon played great, which I was glad to see on his senior day. Sean Owens had a good game. Really, really liked what I saw from Malaki Smith. He can run, he can throw. He threw a couple like really good passes. Like even like it was even like he threw passes that would have been completed against really good defenses. Like he threw into double coverage right in the perfect spot. It wasn't like, oh, double coverage, bad throw. It was like, no, double coverage in the perfect spot for the receiver to catch it. So it's going to be interesting to see going forward what the quarterback situation is going to look like because obviously we don't know what Zayden Flores looks like. I don't know this. I haven't heard a damn thing about it. I don't know this, so no one run with it. I would assume Rangel will probably be the guy to enter the portal because he's got film and he's got film and he's probably, going to be a senior this year or redshirt junior, I guess. 2 years left. Probably time for him to go if he wants to. I would love to have him back. Can never have too many quarterbacks. But I think it'll probably be a battle between Zane and Malawaki. And it's going to be interesting to see because if Zane is better than Malawaki, then I think Oklahoma State could have a good quarterback. And if Malawaki's the guy, then I think Oklahoma State could have a good quarterback. The problem is their defense is really bad. They lose 26 or 30 seniors, whatever it was. So there's going to be a big rebuild going on. But yeah, I mean, it sucked. I want to give a shout out to the fans. The stadium, for a 3-7 football team playing against a mediocre football team in week 13, it was a great crowd. It was a fantastic crowd. The student section was probably 60-65% full, but it's Thanksgiving break. A lot of people already went home. And then also it was great darty weather. It was just fantastic, front yard, just put the game on the TV, drink outside weather. So I'm not mad at the students for not going. I understand. But outside of that, the stadium was damn near full. The crowd was really into it. Now, it wasn't like the loudest I've ever heard the stadium in my life, don't get me wrong. But, on third downs, you were standing up and you were cheering. So just shout out to the fans, still very bought in, even though there's been some comments made about the fans by a certain coach. But the coach also, that same coach also had some interesting comments last night too, Preston. I haven't listened to his full game press conference. Going to listen to it in the morning when I'm cutting it up for the show. But he addressed the retirement rumor, saying, I'm not retiring. He said he's the guy to fix this. He's the only guy that can fix this. He knows how bad it is and he knows what to do. So I got all my faith in Mike Gundy. One, I want to have my faith in Mike Gundy. I still love Mike Gundy. Like, he is my football coach. I'm mad at him. Doesn't mean I don't love him. And I do think that he has earned the right to try and fix this. And I trust that he can fix this because it's never been this bad. But time and time again, when his back's against the wall, he seems to find his way out of it. So going to be an interesting offseason, really interesting. Still one more game to go, obviously. But just going to be interesting because Mike Gundy did full on say, unless I'm fired, I'm going to be the coach next year. And they're not firing him, obviously. So, so it's going to be interesting to see how this all pans out, the quarterback situation. Rodney Fields, the running back, coached by Sports Animal Zone, Robert Jones, OSU football feedback guy, pregame show. He had a really good game. He runs really hard. I think he could be a really good running back. He's a guy that looks like he has NFL potential.
I've liked what I've seen on him so far.
Offensively, some good to take away. Now, then again, you're going to be losing all those receivers. You'll be losing all your offensive line. So, going to be a rebuild too. But there are some guys there. Defensively, I mean, I don't even know where to begin. I don't even know where to begin defensively. But
launch it into the sun and start over again.
Yeah, it's
yeah,
bad.
that's gonna be bad. Do you think Mike Gundy has a problem picking quarterbacks?
Yeah. I mean, I would have told you that. I mean, I would have told you that, when Spencer Sanders was a clear starter in 2022 or something. Like, yeah, he's had a problem. I mean, the Brandon Weeden, even though Zach Robinson was there, but Brandon Weeden, I can't remember who was it Alex Lunt, maybe something like that. Started over Brandon Weeden in the Colorado game. They got bitched. They put in Brandon Weeden in. Rest was history.
The rest was history. Yeah.
That's kind of the first one, and then obviously the Mason Rudolph debacle. The can't decide between Clint Shelf and J.W. Walsh. Then to the 3 quarterback system last year. Then waiting until game 11 to play one of your young guys. So it's I mean, I guess to Mike's defense, he did play Rangel early on, but he got hurt. But yeah, I would say Mike Gundy. It was weird because for how much of an offensive genius he is, for how much he's been able to develop quarterbacks, it is weird. He has trouble picking one, but yeah, he definitely does. And this is just another chapter in that book.
What are the percentage chance they have to win in Colorado next week? Because I got to think it's a little bit higher after seeing them score that many points and seeing Colorado lose yesterday to Kansas.
25-30.
Okay. And it had been
like they're still playing. They're playing hard. Like they're not good, but they're playing hard. Yeah. So anything's possible.
Anything
maybe less than 25-30. That's
look. That should be an interesting game because Colorado's a good football team, but I don't know if they're as good as what people, were saying. Obviously, Kansas, that was kind of a weird situation where Kansas really hasn't even started playing football until like the last, 2 weeks or something like that. So,
yeah.
Who knows? Like you said, anything can happen, especially in college football these days. Literally anything can happen. It seems like these days in college football. And let's get into a little bit of those things that happened in college football. The SEC, I mean, might have played their way out of having 3 teams in the playoffs because 3 top 15 ranked teams lost in the SEC. That was A&M, Alabama, and Ole Miss all lost yesterday. And to teams that were, at 500 or just right above 500 too. So like not crazy good football teams. So things are getting wild in the SEC and in college football with 1 week left in the regular season.
Yeah, so it's going to be interesting to see how it unfolds. So I think A&M was going to have to win the SEC no matter what to get in the playoffs. So which they still can. Texas and Texas A&M is for the SEC championship, which I cannot wait for that game. It's going to be so fun. So that game is going to be for SEC title chances, but I think Texas is in no matter what, because even if they lose to A&M, I think they're going to get in. Now, I wouldn't have said that if Ole Miss and Tennessee or Ole Miss and Alabama both won yesterday.
Yeah,
I would have said Texas is probably going to have to win because they don't have any quality wins, but they're going to have at least 2 or 3 SEC teams in there, and Texas is obviously one of those teams now, even with the loss to A&M. Tennessee's in because they're not going to make the SEC championship. They just got to go 10-2. They'll be in. And I think Georgia will be in even if they lose the SEC championship with their schedule and stuff and the way the committee's been favoring them.
Yeah.
So I think those 3 are pretty much guaranteed in. And then the 4th could be if A&M somehow finds a way to win the SEC championship, which I think they can beat Texas, but I don't think they can beat Texas and then followed up by beating Georgia for the SEC. So, yeah, probably 3 teams, which is crazy. When we're talking a week ago about potentially 5 teams getting in.
Yeah, they keep just dropping like flies. Speaking of dropping games, Indiana drops their first game of the season, but so this is a weird situation. That game ends at 2:30 or something like that. By 10 o'clock at night, Indiana's back into the playoffs because of everything that happened in college football yesterday.
I'm been an Indiana guy this whole season. Like, awesome story. They are not a playoff. I mean, they're going to be in the playoff because they deserve to at this point.
Yeah, but they're not like a
They're not a
traditional. Yeah,
playoff caliber team.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
Ohio State was
No,
head
they took him to town
head
for
and
sure. Yeah,
shoulders better
yeah.
than Indiana. That was a thorough ass whooping.
Yes. What was I just had that score in front of me. What did it end up being?
28 to
28 to what?
17.
Yeah, I think you got that right.
I stopped watching like
Um,
the midway through the third quarter.
I did as well. I was like, this is going nowhere, so I will quit watching and move on. It was 38-15 was the final score in that one. So yeah, beat down there. Did you see Will Howard with his cigarette he put out on the ground? I thought that was a pretty funny move.
Oh yeah, I did. then Ohio State pulling at we Googled you or something.
Google it, up on the big board. Yeah, that was good as well. So I love some of that in football. You got anything else in college football before we move on to the NFL?
Notre Dame put it right on
Yes.
Army. Notre Dame's
Yes,
definitely
Notre
in the
Dame.
playoff at this point.
Yeah, they put it on Army. That wasn't even close.
Oh, I think it'd be interesting if Notre Dame lost to USC. No, they're not going to make the playoff for Lucy. That's when Alabama finds its way to sneak back in.
Yeah, yeah. They'll do something. By the way, Oklahoma and USC could possibly play in a bowl game. So we'll keep our eyes on that one. That would be very interesting if that were to happen. All right, let's switch over to the National Football League and talk about some football from today. Again, another crazy day in football
This
here
whole
on
week.
Sunday. Yeah. I mean, the witching hour of the noon games was just insane. I think there was like 4 or 5 touchdowns scored in the last 3 minutes in that Cowboys Commanders game. Obviously your Bears, that went to OT. That was crazy as well. Let's start off here actually with the Vikings and the Bears. The Vikings win 30-27 in overtime. What the hell is Caleb Williams doing when he's in the pocket and he's got like 10 seconds to throw it and he just ends up getting sacked because he can't make a decision?
And that's the thing. He played so good today. He was so clutch.
Yeah.
And then that play happens and it was just awful. Like that was one of his worst, probably his worst play all season, just for the soul. Like, dude, if no one's open, just scribble out and throw it away.
Yeah.
Like you had so much time to make a decision. So, I mean, I'm not too upset about that because he made so many plays. He had a game-winning, drive to get down with 24 seconds left to put Santos in for the field goal. The drive before that, 2-point conversion, where both of the touchdown play to, can't remember who it was to, but anyway, the touchdown and the 2-point conversion were both very good plays by Caleb.
So it was DJ Moore. It was a touchdown.
It's just. Yeah, I mean, I'm not upset at the Bears' loss. I mean, I've thrown in the towel on the season. Just be fun. Don't break Caleb at this point, you know. So
they haven't won since London, have they?
No,
because they're five game skids. So.
But the last 2 losses feel like wins compared to the last previous 3 losses before that.
Yeah, I mean they've played better the last couple of games. It's just they can't win football,
which I'm fine with because my fear would be Eberflus finding a way to get in the playoffs or something.
Yeah,
just like Matt Nagy
saving his job. Yeah,
just like Matt Nagy did in 2020. He found a way to get in the playoffs. Like we made the playoffs, so we should keep him. It's like, well, no, they were terrible.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that. All right, how about the Lions and the Colts? This one, we don't even really have to spend much time on this. The Lions beat the hell out of the Colts 24-6, and they keep on doing their thing.
I didn't do it today because I'm dumb. I just haven't bet today at all. But just if you're a gambler out there, just take the Lions minus the points every single week. Because even if they don't cover 1 week, then they're going to cover the next 3 weeks. So it's just take the Lions minus the points every single week. I mean, we're running out of time in the regular season because it might be different in the playoffs. Just because I think the Lions are really good. I think they are going to be in the Super Bowl where we stand right now. But obviously, playoff games are a lot tighter, and you just never really know in those games. But for the rest of the season, just take the Lions massive points. There's they got 5 games left. They'll go 4-1 in that.
Yeah, and the only issue, David Montgomery banged up. I don't know what the prognosis is on him currently, but he did get a little banged up in that game and left. So maybe keep an eye on that one. But they've got so many weapons on that offense that it does not matter. All right, the Patriots traveled down to Miami to take on the Dolphins. Dolphins win that one 34-15. The Dolphins finding their way back into contention in the AFC East.
Yeah, I've been there definitely in the push. Let's see here. I'm pulling up the standings.
They should be like
They
2 or
are
3 games
currently what the
behind.
hell? Yeah, I mean They're 5-6, and Broncos are 7th at 7-5, so they're right there.
Yeah, but it's crazy.
I didn't watch the game though.
I didn't either, but I saw Achane scored a couple touchdowns, and they were rolling a little bit there. So it's crazy how all these Dolphins fans are sitting around like, this team is so bad, Mike McDaniel is so bad, blah blah blah, when they didn't even have their starting quarterback.
Yeah,
it's like, guys, no one's team play good in the NFL when they have their backups in. That's how it works. Like you don't have backups that can go in and win you 10 football games every year.
The Dolphins should know too, after going through like 20 years of misery at quarterback, that they should know that sometimes you just need a good quarterback to win games.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I don't think it was the young mastermind offensive guy not knowing how to draw up plays.
I think it was Skylar Thompson.
Yeah, I think it might have been Skylar Thompson, and the other guy, I can't remember his name that they brought in.
Oh, he's a Pro Bowler, Tyler Huntley.
Yeah, Tyler Huntley. I don't think it was. I think it might have been the guys actually throwing the football to the other players. So let's keep that in mind. But yeah, the Dolphins inching ever closer to sneaking into the playoffs at one of those wild card spots in the AFC. How about the Buccaneers traveling up to New York to take on the Giants? Baker Mayfield scores, and he does the Italian salute.
Baker Mayfield may not be with us in the morning.
Yeah, did that in front of all the Italians there in New Jersey. So I thought that was pretty cool. But they win 30-7 to pull within a game of 500. Mike Evans, I believe he was back today. I didn't watch some of this game. I need to go and see if he even played today. So I know he got taken off the IR this week. Let's see. Oh, Mike Evans did play. 5 catches, 68 yards.
I didn't see any of this game.
Yeah.
I probably should have mentioned that from the get-go.
Bucky Irving, though, I tell you what, he's turning into a great player for the Buccaners.
I like Bucky Irving.
The name too. I mean, Bucky.
Yeah,
come on.
It's the best running back name there could be. Be a good quarterback name too.
Yes, yeah, Bucky. Yeah, that would be a great one. All right, the Cowboys and the Commanders. This was the one where I said when we introed this that there were 4 touchdowns scored in the last 3 minutes of the game. This ending was absolutely crazy. The score alone in the fourth quarter, T-Bag, was 24-17. So they scored that many points in the fourth quarter alone, each of those teams. So the Commanders dropped one to the Cowboys in a shocker, really. I mean, this game was just such a crazy ending. I'm trying to remember how it happened. So Turpin gets the kick. He does a spin move without anybody within 5 yards of him. Then he turns on the Jets and goes 99 yards for a touchdown. And then the next drive, Jaden Daniels completes an 87-yard pass for a touchdown. They missed the extra point. Then they onside kick it. And did they get the ball? No. Dallas takes the kick back for a touchdown on the onside kick. And then they go and try and score on a Hail Mary, and it doesn't work. So that was just a crazy ending.
Real quick, I forgot yesterday. This completely left my mind. OSU, did you see the OSU onside kick?
I did not get a chance
OSU
to see that.
attempted a surprise onside kick, and I like the call.
Yes, I did see that. It
just was executed very poorly because the kicker literally just kicked a line drive right to the tech guy, and he was able just to take off.
I did see that now.
But yeah, that game was shocking. I understand the Commanders not going for 2, but I remember saying at the time, I was like, I'd maybe just go for 2 right here. Kind of just you get a depleted Cowboys right there. They're having a tough season, and they get that on them. This would probably be a good time to go for two and just end the game.
Yeah.
And then right when that snap, but it was the hold got butchered a little. That's when I was like, he's gonna miss this. Like right when he kicked it, and then sure enough. But yeah, just a totally crazy game. That going along like right in the sandwiched into what the Bears and Vikings were doing was just like is why we're addicted to football. Like that is why those are the moments where you're like, yeah, like you get your like craved, like you're craving it, and then you get it, and you're so good.
By the way, this coming from Thunder Communications. Thunder injury update. Forward Usman Jang sustained a small fracture in his right ring finger during a game with the Oklahoma City Blue. He will be reevaluated in 3 to 4 weeks. So there you go. That is a little update on Thunder injuries, as that just happened. Came out about a minute ago or so. How about the Panthers almost taking down the Kansas City Chiefs today? That was pretty close. I mean, they had a minute and a half to go down the field, which I knew immediately that Patrick Mahomes was going to go down the field and score a touchdown to win it, or kick a field goal
immediately.
Yeah, like you left a minute and a half on the clock. I think it was actually like a minute 45.
3 timeouts.
Yeah, I'm like, he's going to go down the field. They're going to get in field goal range, or he's just going to throw a touchdown to someone, and they're going to win the game. But it still was nice to be like, damn, the Carolina Panthers had the Kansas City Chiefs on the brink there and almost beat them there at home.
Yeah, so my roommate was right whenever the Panthers tied it. My roommate was like, I'm going to live bet the Chiefs. It's like, I guarantee they're still favorites because, Patrick Mahomes getting the ball. And I thought the spread was going to be 3.5. Like Vegas was going to be betting against a touchdown and betting for the, just a field goal. It was 2.5. Chiefs minus 2.5 live bet right when Mahomes got the ball back. And I was like, dude, I'm not kidding. Like, put everything you can on that game right now because Patrick Mahomes is going to go out and they're going to win this game right here, right now. And then I'm not kidding, right whenever he goes to bet it, it got off the books. Like they took it down because I think everyone had the same thought process. Like, let's go see what this spread is. And when everyone saw it was 2.5, I think everyone just simultaneously was like, yeah, I'm going to take the Chiefs right here. And then it got taken off. But you knew that was inevitable, Preston. You knew right whenever they tied it up, and there was 3 timeouts in a minute 30, a minute 40, whatever it was on the clock. You're like, there's the only way Patrick Mahomes doesn't score here is if he gets hurt jogging onto the field.
Yes.
That's the only way they don't score.
Yeah, no, 100%. And it's just crazy how many different ways they've won football games this year, right? I mean, you had the block field goal a couple weeks ago. You have this one with a guy they just signed off the street earlier in the week because they had to put Butker on the IR. Yeah, hasn't missed. They just find so many ways to win, and it just pisses me off every single time because I sit here and I'm like, I know it's going to happen, but I still think every time I'm like, no, they're going to lose. But then I really know that I'm like, no, they don't lose. They win every game they play. And it's just a miserable existence when the Kansas City Chiefs win.
Not to make it about myself again. They're the exact opposite of the Bears. Literally. Like, think about all the times the Bears have just had, like, oh, my God. And then the Chiefs, like, for the bad. And then Chiefs have had, oh, my God, for the good. For them. No one else likes the Chiefs, in their ways.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not a Chiefs hater like you are. Because obviously you're a divisional rival. You lived in Kansas City. Like, I understand. But, like, you don't want to see the back-to-back Super Bowl champs just winning all the time. Like, I want someone else to get in there.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. Like, I live in the same kind of existence because the Chargers, previously to Jim Harbaugh, found crazy ways to lose football games, and the Chiefs just find ways to win football games, and it just makes me mad. All right, how about the Titans taking down the Texans in Houston? Titans win that one 32-27, and that one was kind of a shocker. I didn't see the end of this game. I guess C.J. Stroud stepped out of the back of the end zone for a safety. I didn't get to see that part of it.
Yeah, I was going to say, I didn't see that either because right whenever you said like 32, I was like, I thought it was 30. But But then, yeah, it's saying 32. So like, I didn't see what happened either because all I saw was a Fairbairn miss kick, and then I just stopped paying attention to it.
I think this was one of those things like on Red Zone where I was paying attention to another game. This like popped up and I got on my phone or something.
Yeah,
And I just missed it. But yeah, the Texans dropped one to the lowly Titans, the 3-8 Titans.
It was a weirdly fun game too. Like you would have told me all the games that were gonna be fun this
like
week.
back and forth. Yeah,
this would have been on the bottom of the barrel. So yeah.
And Kaimi Fairbairn had a chance to win the game or tie it up. I mean, at 30, he shanked it, didn't do it. He's one of the more reliable kickers in the NFL. By the way, bad day for NFL kickers, man, because I think there were about 3 or 4 of them that missed easy chip shot field goals.
Yeah.
So not a good day to be a field goal kicker in the NFL.
The kicking is definitely starting to catch up in the league this year because it was automatic the first few weeks. Like no one was missing, and we're like, is everyone the GOAT right now? And then it's obviously starting to correct itself.
Yes, 100%. How about the Broncos taking down the Raiders? I think we all thought that was going to happen. The Broncos 7-5 now on the season. They're playing great with Bo Nix as their rookie quarterback. They take down the Raiders. Cortland Sutton had 2 touchdowns for them. The Raiders suck. They're going to have to be drafting a quarterback, and it'll probably be Shedeur Sanders.
Yeah, and he would be great in Las Vegas too.
Yes.
He'd be a great Raider.
Like a great promoter and all that stuff out in LA, yes.
I'm so confused how this was only – I mean, and I get it wasn't like a blowout because I thought it'd be maybe a little bit more of, bigger.
Hell, the Raiders were winning at halftime.
But how was it only a 6-point spread? I never understood that.
Yeah.
I'm dumb because the two point spreads I really liked this week was Lions minus 7.5 and Broncos minus 6. And I didn't bet either of them.
Yeah, and so, they both
won. They both won. So that was a dumb mistake on my part. But yeah, I mean, Bo Nix really good once again. Broncos pretty good football team that I think are going to make the playoffs, and depending who they play, don't think it'd be crazy to think that they could win a game.
They would probably, because 1 and 2 get a bye, so they'd probably play
no, just the 1 get the bye now.
Just the 1 gets okay. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Okay. Yeah, that'll be interesting to see who they play.
So they're going to play, but
which is crazy. There's going to be potentially three AFC West teams that make it into the AFC playoffs: Kansas City, LA, and Denver. It's insane.
AFC best.
Yeah, AFC best. All right, let's talk about the 49ers and the Packers. Packers roll in this one, that one in Green Bay. No Brock Purdy today, so this was expected. Turns out Brock Purdy is actually good for the 49ers.
Yeah. This was, again, another one of in the afternoon slate. I really kind of just watched Cardinals Seahawks, which turned out to be a big-time yawn fest of the game. We'll talk about it in a second. But I kept my eye on this game. I was kind of flipping back to it. 49ers just couldn't do a thing without
at all.
Like it was just
bad.
And I mean, and I know they were hurt today, but I just can't buy on the 49ers because their defense looked really bad too.
Yeah. No,
I mean, just because Purdy's out doesn't mean the defense can look that bad because Love didn't start off playing that well. I didn't see his final stat line. But when I was watching him, he at one point he was like 6 for 17 or something, and then finished 13 of 23. So he obviously turned it back up. But they're obviously just running the ball. Josh Jacobs 106 yards. So rush for 169 total on the day. Yeah, I mean, Packers were just able to kind of just do what they wanted on offense, and 49ers couldn't stop them. So
yeah,
I just can't buy to the 49ers. I don't think they're a threat in the NFC this year.
I don't think they are either. I just too many injuries, and this not everything has been put together for them this season. So you did mention that Cardinals Seahawks game. That one a real barn burner. Final score 16-6. In that one, the Cardinals didn't even score a touchdown in this. I think it's the first game all season they haven't scored a touchdown in. The Seahawks muster up 16 points to get the win at home. And now those two teams tied in the NFC West with potential for the Rams to be right there tied with them after tonight.
Yeah, this game was yawn. Nothing special.
Yeah. And the crazy thing is, you look at it, that looks like a great game where there's going to be a lot of points.
Yeah.
And there's just no points in that game at all.
It's definitely a take the over kind of game. You
Yeah.
know, like whatever you look at it, but no, it wasn't. It was a defensive struggle. I mean, Kyler and Gino both had their moments. They just were never both consistent. Like that was kind of
Yeah.
the issue there.
Yeah, there was one pass where Kyler threw it to, I believe, was Wilson who caught it, kind of like over his shoulder, had to kind of do like the Willie Mays catch. Caught it. It was a great pass, great catch. And then they just didn't score. And it's like,
Yeah.
what are you doing? Thinking that because that play got him out like the 10-yard line or something like that, and they just didn't score. So
yeah, it was it kind of maybe this is just setting us up for a great Sunday night because we had such a great college football day, such a great early slate. Then the afternoon games today were just mid, or not even mid. Like they were just not that good, not that exciting whatsoever. So maybe that's just us setting us up for a fantastic Eagles versus Rams game tonight.
Well, yeah, let's talk about it right now. Eagles 3-point favorites in this one. SoFi Stadium in Los Angeles. I don't know which way to go on this game, T-Bag. I have no clue. I think the Rams are good enough to pull it off, but I think the Eagles are also good as well.
Preston, I'm not kidding. My question, like I was good, like what I was literally gonna be like, I don't know how to feel about this game. Like I don't know who's gonna win. I could see either team winning this game. I could see both teams playing great and someone just having to pull it out at the end. I could see both teams not playing well today because we've seen now the Eagles have been playing really good. So maybe it's just because I'm scarred from kind of the beginning of the season and the end of last season. But then again, I can still see it towards like both teams are struggling today, and it's going to be kind of a barn burner type of game. But I don't know how to feel about this. I really don't. I lean Eagles right now just because they've been playing more consistent than the Rams have, and they do not in my opinion, like they do have the better roster. But on the road, Sean McVay, Matthew Stafford, I've seen crazier ones. So
100%. I like the over too, 48.5. I like over 48.5 in this one. I think there could be some points scored. Both of these offenses just scream points to me is what it sounds like. So how about the Monday night game? The Baltimore Ravens travel to LA to take on my Los Angeles Chargers. Let me tell you my one worry about this game. Let me tell you my one worry about this game. Lamar Jackson is fantastic in standalone games. I mean, MVP Lamar in these standalone games. I'm very worried about that.
Yeah. I lean Ravens right now. Just because
they're 2.5-point favorite right now, too.
And I mean, like we said all year about the Chargers. They're just going to be a really solid football team. They can make the playoffs. They can win a playoff game. But this is year one. They have a long way to get, or not necessarily a long way to. You know what I would say? Like,
yeah. They still
have some pieces they got to they got to get in. And I think this is kind of getting into not a must win for the Rams, but like they need to go out and win this, or for the Ravens. This is one of those games where they really need to go out there and win. And so I'm leaning Ravens kind of just solely for that reason.
Yeah. But again, the Chargers defense is the best defense in the league.
And Herbert's been playing fantastic. So
and you got a guy named Ladd McConkey who is balling right now, J.K. Dobbins.
If the Chargers win tomorrow.
No, look,
we're gonna have to start having some conversations.
Yes, we will, but we'll save that. Unfortunately, the Thunder play tomorrow night as well, too. So I'll be having to keep an eye on both of those games, but definitely excited for that one tomorrow. You got anything else before we wrap this thing up and get ready for some football tonight?
That's all.
Let out a deep breath, a sigh of relief that the weekend of football is over for young T-Bag. He can just now focus on other people's teams until next week when it has to start all over again. Oh man!
Yeah, well, can't wait for to go to work all week and just talk about all the football.
That's the bad thing is like your teams can lose and a lot of other people don't have to go to work and don't have to talk about it 24/7.
I texted Curtis.
We have to go to work and talk about it 24/7.
Oh, let me go find it real quick. Yeah, that's like people always ask me about that. Like you said for work, like oh, work's gonna be fun on Monday or work's gonna suck on Monday. I'm like, yeah. I texted Curtis at 9:17 last night. I said, "Do I have to come to work on Monday?" And then he just replied back, "I wouldn't hold it against you." I'll be there. But I was questioning for a second, like, do I have to?
Yeah. Oh man, that's funny. Well, all right, we'll be back. Probably won't have an episode this next week because our only day to do it is Thanksgiving, and I don't want to take any time away from us and our families and stuff like that. So we'll probably be back next week. And I think I don't know what the Thunder schedule is, but we'll tweet that out on the account at Unadvised Pod, at Preston Pool 405, at Tyler's Takes. We will see you guys next week. Have a good one, everyone. Happy Thanksgiving as well.